Hi, in this video I'll help you get to know your car a little better. At the end of this video I've put together a straightforward infographic that summarizes all the key points. Like, subscribe and comment below. It really helps.
All right, let's talk about a message from your car that you absolutely cannot afford to ignore. Trouble code P0218. This isn't just another annoying warning light. It's a critical alert that your transmission is in some serious trouble.
You know that feeling, right? That little glowing check engine light pops up on your dash and your stomach just drops. You're already thinking about unexpected repair bills. But here's the thing, not all codes are created equal.
In this specific code, P0218, well, it's one of the most urgent ones you can get. So understanding what it really means for your car, and let's be honest, for your wallet, is absolutely key to preventing some catastrophic and really expensive damage.
The simplest way to wrap your head around this code, just think of it like your car's transmission has a dangerously high fever. It's not just a minor ache, it's a sign of a serious underlying condition that needs immediate attention.
So, what is this fever all about? Let's get right into the specifics. The P0218 code boils down to one critical thing: heat. Way too much of it. The official definition is pretty straightforward. Your car's computer has detected that the transmission fluid temperature is way past its safe limit. And you got to remember, this fluid is the lifeblood of your transmission. It cools, it lubricates, it provides hydraulic pressure. When it gets too hot, it just starts to break down and can't do its job anymore.
Now this is where it gets really crazy. A normal transmission is perfectly happy running between 160 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit. But look at this chart. For every 20-degree jump above 200, the rate of fluid breakdown literally doubles. The heat is just tearing apart the molecules that are supposed to be protecting all those moving parts. Once you get into that danger zone above 240 degrees, damage isn't just a risk, it's actively happening.
So this fever isn't just some number hidden in your car's computer. No, it creates real-world symptoms that you can often see, feel, and sometimes even smell well before you ever plug in a code reader. So, besides that check engine light, you might actually feel the transmission slipping. You know, when the engine revs up but the car just doesn't want to accelerate? Or you might feel a shuddering or a clunk between gears. Your car might even go into what's called limp mode to protect itself, where it just cuts power way down. But honestly, the most telling sign of all is that sharp, nasty smell, kind of like burnt toast. That, my friends, is the smell of your transmission fluid literally cooking itself. So, the big question is, what's causing this dangerous fever in the first place? Well, it's not always just one single thing.
This chart does a great job of showing the usual suspects. As you can see, a massive 40% of the time, the problem is with the cooling system. We're talking a clogged cooler or blocked lines. After that, you've got internal mechanical problems like slipping clutches. And notice this, severe driving conditions like towing a heavy trailer, that's only a small piece of the pie. The problem is usually mechanical, not just how you're driving.
And here's a quick check you can do yourself. Healthy transmission fluid is usually a nice bright red color and has a kind of sweet smell. But if you check it and it's dark brown or black and it smells burnt, yeah, that's a huge red flag that the fluid is shot and some internal damage may have already happened. Okay, so you've got the code, you've got the symptoms. What actually happens when you take it into a shop? Well, you can think of it like a doctor's checkup, but for your transmission. A good mechanic is going to follow a really logical process. First, just like we talked about, they'll check the fluid's level and condition. Then, they'll hook up a scanner to see the live temperature data the car is reporting. Now, this next step is crucial. They'll verify that reading with an external tool, like an infrared thermometer, just to make sure it's not a faulty sensor giving a bad reading. Finally, they'll test the whole cooling system to find any blockages or other failures.
And that brings us to, without a doubt, the most important part of this whole explainer. What happens if you see the light, you feel the shudder, and you just decide to keep going?
It's the question on everybody's mind when they're staring down a potentially huge repair bill, right? Can I just push it a little further? Can I make it to next payday?
The answer from the experts is a hard no. And this quote really says it all. The difference between acting right away and waiting is often the difference between a pretty minor fix, like a new sensor or a fluid flush, and a complete, tear-down, full-blown transmission replacement.
And what does a full transmission replacement look like for your bank account? You're easily looking at over $3,000. And honestly, often a lot more depending on your car. This number right here, this is the true cost of ignoring the P0218 code.
So, if there is one single thing you take away from this entire breakdown, please let it be this. If you get a P0218 code, or you feel any of its major symptoms, pull over safely and turn off the engine. Do not try to make it home.
Get it towed to a professional. The thing is, this code is often totally preventable. So that leaves us with one final question. What's the most effective thing you can do to avoid seeing this dreaded code in the first place? The answer is simple, but so important. Regular maintenance. Changing your transmission fluid on schedule is the single best defense against the heat that causes this code. Don't wait for the fever. Prevent it.